So, ladies and gentlemen, they say in hockey, if you can survive Three Rivers in junior play, you must be, pretty good. Not lucky, but good. Now, this is another request from our good listener, Travis Cook, who basically suggested a podcast on him because, according to a lot of fans like him, he is probably one of the most underrated players of his generation. A star in the NHL, a star in the WHA, and a guy that played and played and played and played. Of course, we're going to talk about the great Jean-Guy Gendron. Now, Joseph Youdot Jean-Guy, known also as Smitty Gendron, born August 30th, 1934 in Montreal. He was a left winger who played 863 games in NHL for the Rangers, Bruins, Canadiens, and Flyers. He also played 127 games in the WHA for the Quebec Nordiques and was a big part of the recognition of the franchise in the early 70s because he ended up being kind of a cornerstone of the new Quebec Nordique squad, and he also was the head coach for the team for 2 seasons, so his contributions to the WHA and the Nordiques is just tremendous. But we're going to get into that in just a quick second. Now, when I said he played with Three Rivers, he played with one of the most respected teams in Three Rivers history, the Reds. Now, he also played with the Quebec Aces in 53 in the playoffs, but his best year with the Reds was his last campaign where he scored 42 goals in 54 games, and he wasn't scared to take a penalty, ladies and gentlemen. He had 179 minutes in penalties. He moved on to the Providence Reds of the AHL in 55, 24 goals, but then the big call-up occurred. 56, he moved all the way to the Rangers, played with them for 2 seasons before moving on to the Bruins, where he had his best success in his early campaigns. 1960, he scored 24 goals with the big club. Now, 61, he found himself with Montreal in the second half of the season, scoring 9 goals after only potting 1 for Boston. 62, found himself back with the Rangers, scoring 14 goals. 63, found himself back again with Boston, very popular player. It was very unlikely that people could shift teams like he did, but because he was very jovial and very good at what he was doing, he had a really good season with Boston in the 63 with 21 goals. Now, he eventually was back to the minors for 3 seasons, where the NHL, I think, gave up on him, but he didn't give up on major pro hockey. He had played 3 seasons with the Aces, averaging about 25 goals a season for those 3 years. Now, when expansion occurred, he was still playing with the Aces in 68, but the Flyers brought him up for 1 game, and he had 1 assist in that contest. But by the 69 season, he was fully back in the NHL, again as part of that expansion requirement where a lot of talented former NHLers were being called up. 69, his big comeback season, 20 goals in 74 games. 70, he had 23 goals. 71, he had 20 goals. 72, little tail off with 6 goals in 56 games. But then he found himself with the Nordiques. Now, the Nordiques had probably, it wasn't an all-Francophone team in 73, but pretty close. And the media just ate it up because former Montreal Canadian, former Boston Bruin, former Ranger, former Flyer, the Serge Bernier style, showed up. And he had a good first season with the Nordiques with 50 points, including 17 goals. 74, his last regular season, he had 11 goals and 19 points in 64 games. Now, 74-75 was a big breakthrough for Quebec because a lot of people thought they were going to win the Avco Cup that year. Probably one of the best Nordic teams ever, besides 77. And he was 46-32 as head coach for the squad, first in the Canadian division, but unfortunately he lost the Avco finals. Now, 75-76, one of the few occasions, to my memory, for a non-Montreal Canadian team to win 50 goals in a regular season. He was second in the Canadian division with a 50-27-4 record, but lost in the quarterfinals. So his record in WHA as a coach, 96-59-4. Record as a player, 28 goals, 41 assists for 69 points. NHL, 182 goals in 863 games. So very close to the WHA NHL combination. But ladies and gentlemen, these AHL totals were tremendous as well. 304 games, 296 points, and 128 goals. So between the AHL, the NHL, The WHA, ladies and gentlemen, that is a total that needs to be recognized and respected. Over 1,300 games in the three biggest associations of the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And that's tremendous. Because anybody can score 300, 350 goals total in their career in the AHL, NHL, and WHA. They deserve a podcast. So I'm sorry I'm a little bit late getting to it. It kind of, passed my memory because I do remember my dad talking about Jean-Guy. But the fact is, with the Rangers of the 50s, when he had his first success, it's kind of forgotten. But I know with 1960 with the Bruins, he was considered one of the possible steals. A lot of teams were trying to get him after that 1960 season with Boston with that 24 goals because he wasn't known as a playmaker. Like, he would score a lot of goals, not have many assists, and it kind of showed with his totals. But every team needs a guy like Jean-Guy Gendron, 20, 25 goals. Not scared to go into corners, not scared to get rough every once in a while. And for me, those Nordic teams of the early 70s, my God, we had fun watching them. And to see the beer wars where he was part of that is pretty amazing. So that's the legend of Jean-Guy Gendron. Thanks for listening. Bye.